rapper Travis Scott on the NYPD's radar after allegedly attacking someone at a nightclub. What that man says really happened in his exclusive interview with Fox 5. Plus, are your kids spending too much time on TikTok? Are you? We'll tell you about the app's latest feature to cut down on nonstop scrolling on the 10 o'clock news.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Right now on the 10 o'clock news.
Hundreds of protesters from a George Floyd march in June 2020, the victims of a police tactic known as kettling, are now going to receive a settlement from the city. How much they are set to receive.
Plus, we sit down with Congressman George Santos once again, this time getting his take on co-sponsoring a bill to make the AR-15 the national gun of America and where he went to high school. And in an interview you will only see on Fox 5, we talked to the man recovering in the hospital tonight after he says he was attacked by rapper Travis Scott. Good evening. I'm Steve Lacey. And I'm Natasha Verma. Thanks for joining us. The attack happening inside Nebula nightclub in Midtown just before 3:30 a.m.
That's right. And the victim shared his story exclusively with Fox 5's Arthur Chian from his hospital bed in New Jersey. And Travis Scott's lawyer sent Fox 5 this statement saying, quote, while this is clearly a misunderstanding being blown out of proportion by clickbait and misinformation, we are actively working with the venue and law enforcement to resolve and set the record straight. We're confident our client will be cleared of any wrongdoing. Well, tonight the city is settling a lawsuit with hundreds of protesters from the George Floyd marches in June 2020. Each protester could get more than $20,000 in this agreement. All right, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt joins us now with more on what police were doing at those protests. Linda.
Yeah, hi there, Steve and Natasha. Well, first of all, the lawsuit is focusing on a policing technique that is called kettling, and that is when officers surround the protesters, they corral them in so they cannot leave, and that it can also make it easier for police to make arrests. And also for you on this story tonight, since the 2020 racial justice protests, the NYPD says it has implemented new policies and training for large-scale demonstrations. Steve, back over to you.
Very well. All right, thanks, Linda. The City Council held oversight hearings on the NYPD's Strategic Response Group. The council's looking into regulating or even disbanding the unit. Critics say they use aggressive crowd control tactics during the 2020 racial justice protest that led to a number of injuries to protesters. The NYPD, citing ongoing lawsuits, refused to attend.
Now we know for going forward, we'll have to subpoena the NYPD to make sure that they appear at these hearings.
They are there to remove illegal firearms and weapons from our streets and conduct investigations thereafter for violent criminals.
The NYPD says since 2020, they put new training policies into effect. Two men are now charged for beating up and robbing a beloved candy store owner. Luis Peroza and Gerald Barth are accused of attacking the 90-year-old owner of Ray's Candy Store. He was beaten and robbed in the early morning hours on New Year's Eve. He suffered a broken jaw and facial fractures. Police say both men are also suspected in a robbery spree in the East Village. A partial evacuation of a building in Chinatown after reports of falling bricks. Department of Buildings inspectors were called to Mott Street today, and they found a section of brick that had partially detached and was in danger of collapsing down onto the sidewalk. A fire escape is also damaged and in need of repairs. No injuries have been reported, and the investigation continues at this hour. Well, things are getting back to normal in Hoboken following Monday's major water main break. Hoboken Hospital is running normally after being evacuated. This comes after officials say the water main break is fixed. However, as a precaution, they do still have that boil water advisory in effect. The break was caused when a PSE&G crew accidentally ruptured it. Hoboken's mayor promised that whoever is responsible will be held accountable. Well, Congressman George Santos was back in the hot seat talking to Fox 5 about what he's been doing on Capitol Hill. All right, Judah Goldberg pressed him on everything from bills he's co-sponsoring to where he went to high school in this exclusive interview. Attorney General Merrick Garland testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee today. This was his first trip to Capitol Hill in more than a year. Garland touted the work done by the DOJ to fight the rise in crime, protect civil rights, and uphold the rule of law. He believes democracy will survive if we can prevent events like the January 6th insurrection from ever happening again.
We're strengthening the norms to protect the department's independence and integrity. We are securing convictions for a wide range of criminal conduct related to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. We are disrupting, investigating, and prosecuting violence and threats of violence, targeting those who serve the public.
Garland disputed claims he's treating Biden and Trump's classified document investigations differently, stating the department does not have separate rules for Democrats and Republicans.
TikTok is now coming out with a screen time limit for kids.
That's right, how the app plans to prompt teenagers to take a breather and why many are skeptical it will have any real impact.
Plus, good news for those who need insulin, what one major pharmaceutical company is doing to cut the cost by 70%.
No matter what type of morning person you are, start your mornings with Good Day New York. For what's new, what's happening, what's important.
We're following some breaking news this morning.
So no matter how you begin your day,
here's what we're learning at this hour.
Start it here.
We've got a lot going on today.
Start it informed.
The NYPD is investigating.
Watch Good Day New York, weekday mornings on Fox 5.
TikTok now rolling out a new feature to keep teens from scrolling endlessly, limiting their time to 60 minutes.
But with ways to bypass that limit, many say that it's not really that effective. Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini has the details. And the U.S. just got one step closer to banning TikTok altogether. A House committee passed a bill today that would allow the president to put sanctions on Chinese companies that transfer the personal data of Americans. The bill passed along party lines with unanimous GOP support and no Democratic votes. It's not known if the bill will ever go before the full House for a vote. And just this week, the White House gave federal agencies 30 days to remove TikTok from all government devices.
An emotional hearing on Capitol Hill today as lawmakers work to address the ongoing fentanyl crisis. Fentanyl now the leading cause of death among those between the ages of 18 and 45. The synthetic opioid is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. One woman testified about losing her son who died of fentanyl poisoning.
Logan was found dead in his dorm room at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee in his freshman year. His toxicology report showed 3 different forms of fentanyl.
The FBI says Mexican criminal organizations are mainly to blame for smuggling fentanyl into the country.
The world's first vaccine against RSV just passed a major hurdle. An FDA advisory committee narrowly recommended the agency approve the shot that's made by Pfizer for adults ages 60 and up. The single-dose shot was shown to reduce the risk of RSV by as much as 86%. The next step is FDA approval, which could take several months.
An announcement today, one pharmaceutical giant capping the cost of insulin, bringing relief to more than 1 million adults in need of the life-saving drug.
And Chris Welch shows us how this news could help many Americans who rely on insulin. Well, a new intelligence report says that a foreign country was not responsible for that so-called Havana syndrome.
That's right. The bombshell findings of what officials do believe is behind the serious health problems that U.S. diplomats experienced overseas.
Plus, the shocking plan to assassinate former police commissioner Ray Kelly, his reaction to the plot, and the undercover detective who brought it to light.
The #1 unscripted show reaches a boiling point.
It's undercooked. Get it back in the pan. Get it in the pan, please.
Next Level Chef, Thursday at 8 on Fox 5. You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
All right, let's get a check of the forecast now with Audrey. Stepped outside and my hair just frizzed.
I saw that on your Instagram. That's some good content. Audrey knows a thing or two about good and bad hair days, right, Audrey?
Hairspray.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a struggle right now. We have some patchy drizzle rolling through the tri-state area, but much of the day was pretty dry. Off to the north, we did get a couple of isolated showers earlier, but in and around the city, it was a dry day with a temperature of 44 degrees. The clouds did roll in towards the afternoon, but before that happened, we had some nice melting from yesterday's snowfall. Now, today we're starting off the month of March, and that is also the start of meteorological spring. Meteorological spring is the season whereby meteorologists and climatologists observe spring until May 31st. That's all for record-keeping purposes, but the one that really most people follow is the astronomical spring season, and that will start in 19 days on March 20th. Now, as we go into the month of March, we're expecting temperatures that'll start out in the mid-40s for highs to move into the mid-50s by the end of the month. Our low temperatures will rise up to about 40 degrees by the end of the month. And for average snowfall for the month of March, 5 inches usually, but as you well know, we are having a very slow start to our snow season, so we'll see how that pans out. Average rainfall is about 4.29 inches. Now, we are getting a little bit of rainfall right now. As I mentioned, some patchy drizzle mostly being found in and around the city. We're at 41 in Central Park. Same number at LaGuardia is 43 down towards Atlantic City. Not much on the radar here. Again, just patchy drizzle at the moment. However, there is a system headed in our direction that will produce some rain after midnight. Here's the leading edge of it right now, moving into the Ohio Valley, and this is headed in our direction. So we'll start to see some light rain here after midnight. It'll be here for tomorrow morning's commute, but then the sun will break through by midday, and that will help warm us up into the 50s. I'll have the details coming up. Stephen,
good deal. All right, thanks, Audrey. U.S. intelligence says there's no evidence a foreign enemy is behind the baffling medical condition known as Havana syndrome. There are hundreds of cases around the world of American personnel suffering brain injuries and other symptoms. It began in 2016 at the U.S. Embassy in Cuba. There were suspicions Russia or another enemy might be responsible. Instead, U.S. officials are now saying the injuries could be linked to medical illnesses, malfunctioning air condition, or even electromagnetic waves coming from a computer mouse.
Almost 1 month after a massive train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, a new independent study finds toxic chemicals are still in the air. Data found at least 9 pollutants at levels that could cause long-term health concerns in the community. Researchers found elevated levels of chemicals that trigger lung and eye irritation, headaches, and more. The study says that it would take months or even years before those pollutants had serious health effects. Federal and state regulators maintain the air is safe.
Workers frantically searching the site of the deadliest train crash in the history of Greece. At least 43 people died after a passenger train slammed into a freight train about 200 miles north of Athens. Multiple train cars derailed and at least 3 caught on fire just before midnight on Tuesday. It's not clear exactly what caused the collision, but the station master of a nearby city has been arrested.
The trains were completely destroyed, both the passenger and freight trains. People naturally were scared, very scared. They were looking around, searching. They didn't know where they were.
Greece's transportation minister says he is resigning out of respect for those who died.
A new documentary details a shocking plan to assassinate former NYPD Commissioner Ray Kelly and blow up one police plaza.
All right, we're going to hear from the commissioner and the undercover cop who first heard the plot from an inmate at Rikers.
Plus, police in Yonkers say retail thieves have no shame. They're pushed to change the law so repeat offenders can be held accountable. A new documentary is detailing a plan to assassinate former police commissioner Ray Kelly and blow up one police plaza. The plot was foiled by an undercover cop.
All right, that story playing out in a new series premiering on A&E tomorrow called Undercover Caught on Tape.
And tonight, Fox 5's Teresa Priolo talked to Ray Kelly about this violent plot and the detective who brought it to light, Teresa.
Yeah, Natasha and Steve, you think you've heard everything here in New York, and then comes this. A Rikers inmate named David Brown can't stop talking about his desire to kill then police commissioner Ray Kelly. The NYPD got wind of it, and they set up a sting with one of this city's most experienced undercover detectives. The episode with Ray Kelly and Charles Byam airs on A&E tomorrow. The episode with retired Sergeant Manny Matos will air later on this season. Natasha.
God, what a wild story. All right, Teresa, thank you. The Perth Amboy School District is promising tighter security after a young student was stabbed right off campus. The district in New Jersey put out a letter that details the changes that include armed security guards, metal detectors, and backpack searches. An 11-year-old middle school student was stabbed by another student while walking home from school last week. So on Monday, high school students walked out in support of that 11-year-old and to protest violence on campus. That student is expected to survive.
An arrest warrant's been issued for one of the top college football players in the country. Jalen Carter plays for the University of Georgia. Police say in January, just hours after Georgia won the national championship, Carter and a teammate were racing their cars at over 100 miles an hour when he crashed. Devin Willock, who grew up in New Jersey, and recruiting staff member Chandler LaCroix were killed. Officials say alcohol played a role in the crash. Carter is charged with reckless driving.
The man accused of killing 2 pet German shepherds has been denied a probation program. The attorney for Michael Konchak told a Connecticut judge that this was a hunting accident. He said his client thought that the dogs were coyotes. The dog's owner says that they got out of the backyard in November. Konchak told the court that once he realized the dogs were pets, he was in a state of profound emotional despair.
Well, after a rise in shoplifting at local businesses in Yonkers, the police department sounding the alarm and blaming bail reform.
Fox 5's Richard Giacovis talks to the Yonkers police chief, who says the law needs to change. It's a move to protect bodega and store workers dealing with violence. A bill introduced in Albany this week would increase the penalties for attacking retail workers. Those crimes would become a Class D felony in the hopes of keeping employees safe. Frontline workers and employees of the MTA also get that same kind of protection.
Not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to come in the store, stealing, attack the people working inside the store, you know.
Another proposed bill would make shoplifting a felony if it happened within 2 years of a prior conviction.
Earlier this week, we told you about a rescued toy poodle that was taken off the streets by a woman in Tribeca. Well, tonight we are happy to say that little Rami has been returned to its owner, Dale Dumas, by that same woman.
Wow.
She had grabbed the poodle when it ran out of the salon where Dumas works on Thursday. After being out of town for a few days, she brought it back after seeing our report. Dumas says he is thrilled to have Rami home and plans to spoil her with treats for days.
Oh my gosh, faith in humanity restored.
Yes, indeed.
It's a great ending. Well, after 20 years, the pay gap between men and women has barely moved.
Yeah, we're going to have more of the new research showing women only making 82% of what men earn. But first, here's a preview of what Fox 5's Lisa Evers is bringing us on this week's Street Soldiers.
Hi, I'm Lisa Evers, host of Street Soldiers. We're talking school safety. Find out why getting home can be the most dangerous time of the day. That's coming up on Street Soldiers right after the news.
Awesome.
Is enough being done to keep city students safe? That's a question many are asking after there were shootings outside a number of city schools recently.
And in this week's Street Soldiers, Lisa Evers takes a closer look at what's being done to keep students safe. Here's her preview.
Shootings outside city schools are raising new questions and concerns about whether enough precautions are in place to protect students. Gun violence is all too common on city streets, but now parents are sounding the alarm, saying kids should not have to fear for their lives to get an education.
Well, new research showing that women are still not making as much as their male co-workers.
All right, we're going to have more on just how big the gender pay gap is today compared to 20 and 40 years ago.
Plus, KISS says that they're making their last tour. We'll have details on those final shows that will surely pack Madison Square Garden.
You. Want to know stuff now? Go to fox5ny.com or download the free Fox 5 NY app and get the news that affects you. Local stories, national stories, viral stories, and much more. Go to fox5ny.com or the Fox 5 NY app and know stuff now.
In 1982, women made 62 cents for every dollar a man earned. Then 20 years later, in 2002, a big leap with women making 80 cents to every dollar.
Now another 20 years has passed, but instead of women finally getting equal pay, new research tells a different story. Fox 5's Christine Russo has those details. All right, let's get a check of the forecast now with Audrey.
Yep, first day of March, relatively nice out today, Audrey.
It was a pretty decent start to the new month here. We had a nice chance for some melting with the sunshine that was out earlier today, but then the clouds began to roll in. Temperature today made it to 44 degrees in Central Park. That was roughly at about 1 o'clock earlier this afternoon. This morning's low was 33 degrees, the record high 73, set back in 1972. It's been as cold as 4 degrees. Now we're all looking forward to the spring season here. It's only 19 days away. It officially begins Monday, March 20th at about 5:24 p.m. But right now we still have the winter chill in place, although it's not too bad faring how late it is at this hour. 41 degrees currently in Central Park. It's 43 in Newark, same number down the shore in Belmar. Islip, you're checking in with 40 degrees, and we're in the 30s up towards Poughkeepsie, Sussex, and Monticello. 38 is the number in Bridgeport. Now all of these readings are actually a little bit milder than they were at this time last night. Our winds are relatively light too, although tomorrow they will pick up in speed, and we could have wind gusts up to 25 to 30 miles per hour during the day. So look at the satellite and radar shows that we do have a kind of partly cloudy skies at the moment. There have been a couple of spotty showers. Also some patchy drizzle has been found across the region too. There is a wave of energy that's headed in our direction. It's just starting to edge its way into your screen here. This will produce some moisture after about midnight across the tri-state area. The bulk of it is off to the south here around Kentucky and Tennessee, and we're expecting rain to come in here after midnight. We're also watching this area of low pressure pressure coming out of the Four Corner states. This one will also help to produce more precipitation across our region. This will happen on Friday, and by then it'll be a form of snow, sleet, and rain. Tonight, though, just rain across the region as a warm front passes through, and temperatures will just be too mild for snow. Again, have some showers developing after midnight. They'll be here for the early morning commute tomorrow, so expect some slick roadways if you do plan to be heading out, let's say 5, 6, or 7 a.m. Everything clears the coast, though, by 10 o'clock in the morning, and the clouds will also break apart. So by lunchtime, we should see the sun breaking through. Now, good news with that is that sunshine is going to help warm us up into the middle to upper 50s across most of the tri-state area tomorrow. Can enjoy it while it lasts, because then on Friday, we'll have that sun early. It will quickly give way to mostly cloudy skies, and then we'll see the moisture begin to work in here with that next system. So by noontime, we'll start to see snow off to the north. We'll have a mix around, let's say, I-287, and then mainly rain for the city across Long Island and most of New Jersey. We'll see rounds of rain coming through. It could be coming down at a pretty good clip, and they will linger into early on Saturday. By the afternoon on Saturday, though, things will dry out, and we should end the weekend relatively quiet. So tonight we're dropping down to 41. Rain will be arriving after midnight. Tomorrow we go up to 56 degrees after some morning clouds and showers. The sun breaks through by the middle part of the day, and that will help warm us up. Now again, we'll have a gusty wind at about 25 miles per hour, so it won't quite feel like 56. It'll feel a little cooler because of the winds, but still I think everyone will enjoy some milder temperatures. Wintry mix happens on Friday, and it'll linger into the first part of Saturday. We'll clear it out by the afternoon. Sunday will be nice and dry. Temperatures will be in the 40s as we head into the upcoming weekend.
Well, all right, thanks, Audrey. Legendary rock band Kiss has announced their final tour. All right, the End of the Road tour kicks off October 29th in Austin, Texas, and culminates in a massive two-night stand at MSG on December 1st and 2nd. Kiss, of course, was founded in New York City back in 1973. In a statement, the band said it's a privilege and an honor to finish touring where we first started.
The Madison Square Garden Network is getting into the streaming business. MSG Plus is set to launch this summer. It'll have Knicks, Rangers, and Devils games. The streaming service costs around $30 a month, or just over $300 a year. It will be available in markets that already carry MSG networks.
Well, Elon Musk says he wants to create a chat GPT rival.
Why he wants to create an AI chatbot that he says will be less woke.
What's the emergency? I got the Mars rover stuck in a ditch. Where? Where do you think? On Mars?
Next Big Bang. Coming up next on Fox 5. Here's a look at what's going on in sports this weekend on Fox 5, sponsored by Kia. On Saturday, March 4th, it's Fox College basketball with Seton Hall at Providence and St. John's at Marquette, followed by MLS soccer with Los Angeles versus Portland, and then more hoop action with UConn at Villanova. Then on Sunday, March 5th, Fox College basketball returns with Illinois at Purdue, followed by the NASCAR Cup race from Las Vegas. This Fox 5 Weekend Sports Update is brought to you by the 2023 Kia Sportage. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Elon Musk's latest battle involves artificial intelligence. He plans to develop an alternative to ChatGPT, which he believes has become too woke. The much-hyped bot was created by OpenAI, a company he helped found. Musk left in 2015 over a disagreement with leadership. Experts say he's looking to create a chatbot with fewer speech restrictions so we can integrate it into Twitter.
If you have a summer trip planned, you might want to check your flight. Airlines are changing thousands of flight schedules already. So if you've already booked a flight for May, June, July, or August, there is a chance that your departure time or even the day of has changed. So usually the schedule change might only be a few minutes, but in some cases it could be hours, and in the most extreme situations, your flight could change to a totally new day. If you love food and discounts, a brand new restaurant month just launched in Queens. Eat in Queens Restaurant Month is a donate and dine initiative that brings together more than 175 restaurants. Those who make a donation will get to collect at those restaurants. That could mean something like 10% off of a meal. Donations help out those in the community who are food insecure. If you want to find a restaurant that participates, keep an eye open for the Queens Together poster.
Looks good. All right, Audrey's back with one last check of the weather.
But first, look at what to expect for the morning commute.
It's time for the Toyota Traffic Tracker.
I'm Inez Rosales with the Toyota Traffic Tracker. We have sign work going on this week on the Hudson River Parkway. Both directions between exits 9 and 12. The right lane and shoulder will be closed from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Tune into Good Day New York starting at 4:30 in the morning, and I'll keep you updated on your commute.
A vertical drop ride could be coming to the middle of Times Square. Construction is already underway at the corner of 46th Street and 8th Avenue. It's a proposal for an indoor ride that would drop 260 feet. The vertical ride would go between hotel rooms at the bottom and observation decks at the top.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
It's almost too much fun. All right. Let's get a final check of the weather. Audrey, how's it looking tomorrow?
All right. Well, it looks like tonight we'll start to get some showers in here after midnight. Low temperatures will not too far off from where they are right now. In the morning, there will be a slick morning commute, at least until about, let's say, 8 or 9 o'clock. And then after that, the sun will break through. That will help warm us up into the 50s as we get into the afternoon. And then after that, we have a wintry mix arriving for Friday. That will linger into the first part of Saturday. Saturday afternoon, we're drier. We're nice for Sunday, and temperatures will be back into the 40s as we head into the upcoming weekend. Another chance of showers comes in on Tuesday, but you can see temperatures will stay a little bit more seasonable after tomorrow.
Good deal. All right, thanks, Audrey. That does it for us tonight. Good Day New York's latest headlines starting at 4:30 tomorrow morning.
Stay tuned. The Big Bang Theory starts right now.